Listen here, morons. We're going to learn LERP together, because when you get the chance to work on literally anything but the project that's important, you just gotta take it. So I'm making this YouTube video. It all started when my favorite streamer picked me up by my clamshell, and the sun bounced off of my shell, and everything was just perfect, and she looked me in my little clam eyes and said, "You're just so smart. Your brain is huge. You should learn LERP so that the rest of the world can learn LERP, because you're just so good at making YouTube videos, and it would just be beneficial to humanity. You just gotta do it." Here, don't believe me? Look, watch, look, right here, look.
And I actually do need to know a little bit about LERP. I need you to give me the explanation like I'm like 4 though. Like I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that.
Then she went on and said the other stuff that I said she did. Like she did. Like she definitely said it. I didn't make it up. I didn't. She said it. Starting with the basics, LERP originated in New Zealand and it stands for Live Action Role Playing. Just kidding, nerds. Who cares what it stands for? Let's get to it. First, I'm going to quickly draw a sprite which will represent the player. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're just using it as an example. Ugh, I should at least draw it good enough that you can even tell what I'm trying to make. Okay. What the? Alright. What? And I know what you're saying. Dude, if you can't even make 2D art, how are you going to make the graphics for your game? And while you're at it, can you even make music? Like, what are you going to do? And my answer to that is, okay, now we're going to import it to the game. Alright, we got our character now. I put in some basic code for just simple movement. Amazing. Now we add a camera, which is what this whole LERP thing is all about. And because it's just like on a blank background, you won't be able to tell that the camera's following you. We're going to add a background so you can see that the character is moving. There we go. We're going to hit play to test it. And yeah, I mean, you can't even tell the difference between this and Mario. It is time. So what is LERP? I don't know. That's what the whole point of this video is. We're going to find out. Everyone read it with me. Linearly interpolates between two values by factor defined in weight. To perform interpolation, weight should be between 0.0 and 1.0 inclusive. However, values outside this range are allowed and can be used to perform extrapolation. If this is not desired, use clamp F to limit weight. Both from and to must be the same type. Supported types are these variables. What? The point of LERP with the camera is so that when you move from like a dead stop or going from moving to a dead stop, the camera doesn't just suddenly start or stop moving. Like, it's not jerky. It's like a smooth transition. The first thing I'm doing is grabbing the camera object and putting it in the script so I can interact with it. And I'm going to rename it so I don't have to type out that full name every time. Here, I'm making a simple function to actually call LERP. I'm taking the camera's position and I'm going to make it equal to the camera's position LERP, and then to where I want it to go, which is to follow the player. So that's just the regular global position, and the weight of 1. And let's see if there's any difference. Alright, so I'm not noticing... Oh, it would help if I actually called the function. Okay, so let's see. Alright, nope, yeah. So, no difference. Here's the SparkNote versions of LERP. Returns the result of the linear interpolation between this vector and 2. And I definitely knew what interpolation meant and didn't have to look it up. So this is saying it's going to be between those 2 points, and those 2 points being where the camera is and where the player is. So here, for example, the square is the camera and the circle is the player. Currently, I have the camera position equal to the player position, so that's why the player is always in the center, because the camera just moves at the same exact speed as the player. So when the player moves up, the game needs to do some math to determine how the camera is going to move up. So the current position is going to be wherever the camera currently is, and the to position is wherever the player is, and LERP is the math that is going to get us from the current position to the player position, with the weight being how much we're moving the camera. 1 means it's perfectly matched to the player, so it's moving 100% of the player movement speed, so that would lock it in, which makes sense because when I used the LERP function before and I used 1, we didn't notice any difference with it. Okay, so I just spent like the last hour raging trying to figure out an issue. So it turns out Godot will always lock the camera to the player if the camera is an object of the player, which is, you know, how we had it. It has to be its own scene. So I did that, and then nothing I was doing was working at all. The camera just sat in place, didn't follow the player, it just didn't do anything. And normally Godot will implement any changes you make on the fly, but for some reason this one, all I had to do was save and reload, and then it was totally fine. But that doesn't normally happen, so it took me a long time before I tried that. But here we are, we're back, we're good, we're we're good. We know that one will just lock it to the player. And so now at point 1, you can actually see a pretty big difference. You can see how the camera moves to catch up to the player. At point 01, we can really see it. We can finally really see what LERP is doing. And now we know what LERP is. It's moving from one location to another, using a value for strength, which just determines how much it moves each frame to get there. Now, because it is tied to your frame rate, if your computer is running slower, there's like a lot going on in the game, that means it's going to affect it. Which the solution to that would be using delta. It doesn't matter what your frame rate is, it's always going to be the same speed. But, I mean, we all know delta. This was actually a lot of fun to do, and it really did help me learn LERP, which I'm so sick of hearing that word. I went into Godot's documentation to see if I should dive even deeper into LERP to make the camera move smoother. Not a fucking chance.